tribute to Raila Amolo Odinga. Raila Amolo Odinga stands as one of Kenya's most iconic and resilient political leaders, a man whose life has been defined by unyielding support, commitment rather, to justice, democracy, and the freedom of all Kenyans. Born into the struggle of resilient and raised amidst the dreams of a young nation, Raila's journey has been one of sacrifice and unwavering courage from the dark days of the political detention to the bright moments of the triumph in Kenya's reform movement. He has remained steadfast in his pursuit of a better, fairer, and a more inclusive Kenya. Through his tireless advocacy for multi-party democracy in the 1980s and 90s, Raila helped reshape the nation's political landscape. He endured imprisonment, persecution, yet emerged not with bitterness but with a renewed conviction that Kenya's destiny could only be secured through unity, transparency, and good governance. His voice has consistently echoed the cry of the common citizen, calling for equity, devolution, and an end to corruption and impunity. As a statesman, Raila Odinga's vision has transcended politics. He has championed education, infrastructure, regional integration, and the empowerment of marginalized communities. His belief in a Kenya that belongs to all, regardless of tribe or status, continues to inspire millions both at home and across the globe. His leadership in championing constitutional reforms, particularly during the 2010 constitutional process, cemented his legacy as a true reformer and an architect of modern Kenya today. As the nation reflects on his enduring impact, we celebrate Raila Amolo Odinga, not merely as a politician, but as a patriot, a father of democracy, whose name is etched indelibly in the story of Kenya's progress. His resilience, wisdom, and unwavering faith in the people of Kenya remain a guiding light for future generations. Raila's legacy reminds us that true leadership is not about power, but about service, sacrifice, and relentless pursuit of justice and prosperous nation. The Insight Special today. Good evening and welcome to the program. My name is Emmanuel Ouma, and today we want to speak about Raila Odinga, and we take a deep dive into his life, legacy, and leadership of one of the Kenya's most iconic political figures, the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. For over 4 decades, he has been at the center of Kenya's political evolution, from the struggle of multi-party democracy to constitutional reforms and national reconciliation. This special edition not just look back at his political journey, but an exploration of the man behind the movement, his ideals, sacrifices, triumphs, and his influence on the generations that have followed. Well, we examine how Odinga shaped Kenya's political landscape, inspired reforms, and ignited debates. And to help me do this is Mr. Julius Umoja, who is here with us from the Wiper Democratic Front. Thank you for joining us. Patriotic Front, rather.
Thank you.
And we have Mr. Moses Nyanduga, who is a student leader. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And Moses Sande Omondi, who is an aspirant of the Southeast Lego Ward Member of County Assembly, CAM 2027. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, too.
And Mr. Fred Osiro. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us and having this conversation. Now, Raila Odinga has shaped our politics for quite some time, and a decade. And of course, it is quite emotional for us all. And I will want to start with you, Mr. Fred. How do you remember the man Raila Odinga?
Thank you very much, Emmanuel, for inviting me today.
Yes.
First of all, the country is mourning. It's a very sad situation for us as a country, knowing very well who Raila Amolo Odinga was and has been in the country in terms of what he has done. Raila Odinga cannot be described in a sentence or a paragraph. Raila Odinga is an enigma, as you have alluded. And as you started the show, you have listed what the man has done. Yes. So I'm glad that I'm here so that we can actually share and just eulogize the man properly. Yes.
Thank you so much. Mr. Moses Sande, how do you remember Raila Odinga?
First of all, let me send my condolences to the family I can't imagine what the family is going through, because even me personally as Moses, Raila is not my biological father and is not my relative. But the pain that I'm going through is imaginable. So I'm very happy we are discussing a man that is irreplaceable in this country. Maybe you can find somebody who can replace Raila after some decades, maybe after 50 years, that is 4 decades. But as we speak now, I don't see. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Nyenduga, how will you choose to remember the man who shaped Kenya's history?
Thank you, Emmanuel. First, let me send my condolences to the Kenyans at large. Already we know as a country that we are mourning in a very critical time, of course. I'll say Raila himself, we used to refer Raila with several names, of course, Baba, Jacom, and other names. He was a great son of Africa, just like President Uhuru Kenyatta said today, our former president, that you cannot write history without Raila being placed in number one, as somebody who fought for the freedom of the people, democracy, and human rights. I myself, I remember Raila's time, and even the kind of history we can read from Raila. He was a great son of Africa, a Pan-African revolutionary, and a lover of peace. He had that humanity that even during the darkest moments, he used to choose reconciliation, dialogue, and partnership all over other greed for power projects. And of course, we as Kenyans, as much as he has left us, he'll continue to live in our hearts forever and forever. Yes.
Well, thank you so much. Mr. Julius, how do you choose to remember the man who worked closely with your party leader?
First, let me, on my own behalf and on the behalf of my family, behalf of the people of Kachian, let me register my condolences to the family of Mama Ida Odinga, the kids, Winnie, Rosemary, and Raila Odinga Jr., to the people of Sakwa clan, the people of Siaya County, entire Luo-Nyanza, and also the people of Kenya, as well as the people of Africa, and the world at large, where Raila served in different capacities. The man that has rested today, to many, I say that it was hard to believe, but being that these are some of the stages that one has to accomplish in life, we have to celebrate, because 80 years is not a joke. We first thank God for giving him 80 years, and as well because of a lot of contribution that he made in this country. Is one of the strongest pillars that shaped this country to the political space, to the economical space that we enjoy, and the freedom that we enjoy as a country right now.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Julius. And Osiro, just let me come to you. Yes. Raila Odinga has been seen as a champion for democracy, especially in this country. Are there some insight that you can give us to that regards?
Emmanuel, first of all, I didn't mention, I want to also condole with the country on behalf of the many million young people in this country. And as the Secretary General, I want to also condole and just urge the young people to mourn our hero in the most respectable way that we can. Raila and democracy is synonymous. That is the same person whenever we're talking about democracy. And of course, if you remember the second liberation, which was basically a struggle to remove this country from dictatorship, the single party state, which dominated this country for so many years. Raila played a very pivotal role in that, and the democracy that people keep talking about and the freedom of speech, the use of social media, and how people express themselves very freely nowadays is because of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. So if we are to flash back and remember what he has done, then we should remember and actually look at the freedoms that all of us enjoy in this country today.
Oh, this is good. And Mr. Moses, Raila and democracy, how do you see that?
See, just like any normal human beings, no one is perfect. There are many occasions that you make some mistakes, then some occasions then you do good. But when we look at the man Raila, is more than what we can explain. But in terms of democracy, Raila has really tried to play a major role in terms of democracy that we can even explain today and complete what he has done. But we will deliberate on what other things that he did. But in terms of democracy, then is the man to watch. Yeah.
Well, this is good, and I would like to have your insight, Mr. Nyanduga. Raila was very pivotal, especially in the fight for multi-party democracy, and that one, of course, led to the repeal of Section 2A of the Constitution by then President Daniel Arap Moi, allowing numerous party to contest alongside KANU. What do you say that?
I'll say, Mr. Emmanuel, that this cuts deep so much that today we have lost somebody. He's no more. We'll remember him as one of the heroes who anonymously fought for multi-party democracy. This is a long history, but I'll just paraphrase.
Sure, indeed.
When you read, Mr. Emmanuel, a book we title We Live to Tell the Nyayo Half Story, that is a collection and tribute of young people who were detained at that time together with the Raila Odinga. And they were saying Raila was in constant movement from one prison to another. And of course, when you go to committee, I believe maybe you've been there, there was a special detention camp for multi-party democracy freedom fighters. It was being called a prison within a prison. To find somebody like Raila Odinga who endured the pain for all these years so that we can be free. The events before the repealing of Section 2A in 1992, leading us to multi-party pluralism, I think it is a great moment in history, of course. It was a great moment in history, and President Moi was left with no any other second thought but to allow the country to move forward in a democratic manner. I'll say Raila's pivot role is not only experienced in Kenya, but this again influenced very many countries in Africa and the world at large to embrace political ideologies, to embrace the recent development, as we can see even today. So I'll say he was a good man, of course. And you know, the problem is that some people expected Raila Odinga to be Jesus Christ, to carry every cross for them. As a human being, we do have the basket of good deeds and the basket of bad deeds. But Raila's basket of good deeds by far outweighed this basket of bad deeds. That's what I can say about his contribution in democracy. And second to that, Raila's freedom and struggle so that we can have the so-called counties was a very big achievement, not only for the country, but for the continent of Africa. Remember in 2020, it was being said, Kenya's constitution, which had already been promulgated at that time in August, was one of the best in the world. When you have a look at this constitution, Raila was the first person, in fact, to say that power must go to the people. As our Article 1 of the Constitution states, we the people, we have the sovereign power in this country, and we are the supreme. He was somebody, everything the government was doing ill to the people, whether he was inside the government or outside, he used to condemn. And in fact, he used to even call so that some of the police officers who were using force to secure their unplanned manners were to be brought to charge. So I'll say it's a very great loss. He contributed immensely, and may the Lord God rest his soul in eternal peace.
That is indeed, he should be resting in eternal peace. Mr. Julius, most of the work that Mr. Raila is accredited to, especially, is the constitution of the Kenya that was promulgated in 2010, and his work, especially in fighting for multi-party democracy in Kenya. What do you say about that?
One, I think democracy is just the devolved rule of the people, which is being managed and governed by the people, for the people, from the people, and by the people. So from that definition, indeed, Raila found it very fit so that it could devolve a lot of things into within the space of a common citizen. And you remember that we suffered the KANU multi-party single party system. And with that, Raila was in a position to scrap it off, and he was detained for 8 years. The painful part of the story that he was being detained, and at the same time, his mother, Mary Ajuma, died at the same time. So he was undergoing the double pain so that the people of Kenya can enjoy what we are enjoying up to date. And a lot of things which he has contributed immensely, for example, the devolution, the Constitution 2010, you find that it was so hard, and is one of the people, the brainchild behind the whatever we enjoy as a devolved government. And we've seen that this devolution, at least it is working, because it is bringing a lot of resources to the people,
Yes.
is bringing a lot of accountability to the people, and the people can be in a position to elect and reach out to the people that they elected at any point that they want. So we've lost a brilliant idea, a person, we've lost an intelligent person that has really shaped this country in different scopes. And I think as leaders, all the young generation that is upcoming, plus the current leadership that we have, we should be in a position to embrace the vision and the mission of Raila Amolo Odinga, why he brought the democracy into this country, Kenya.
Definitely, and that is indeed true. We should emulate him. And Mr. Mr. Osiro, what do you think are some of the characters that shaped Raila, especially for the tough political battles that he really faced growing up?
Raila is a man who we call him in the political space a man who weathers who withstands all seasons. And as you correctly put it, Raila has undergone through difficult situations and challenges, political, some even personal. I remember there's a time Raila's vehicle was shot when he was demonstrating, or when he led this country to demonstration. Nearly killed him, but we thank God. Raila has withstood that. He has also withstood the negative stereotypes that has always been associated with him. And for a man who has fought and has given so much for this country, I think Raila underwent through what normal politician has never gone through in this country. If you remember, he has always been branded a man who is violent. He has always been branded a man who and at some point his political nemesis used to refer to him as Mtu wa maandamano. And you know, he did all these things trying to fight for what we now celebrate today. And that's a story for another day. What we remember Raila for, and what we want to remember Raila for, is that he stood all those challenges, the name calling, the branding that he was given by so many people, his political and nemesis, like I've mentioned, but he still had that heart, that courage to continue to soldier on. So if you ask me the qualities that makes Raila to be who he is that he's forgiving. Raila is forgiving, was forgiving. Raila was an honest man, and he faced the realities, he addressed them as they were, and he did not fear. I remember before what is actually going online, as we have seen the videos that we have been seeing online, there's one video that Raila reminds us to not fear. And this is what we as Kabila la Vijana are actually embracing from him. That Raila reminded us to not be afraid. You will be called names, you will face numerous challenges, almost close to life-threatening challenges. But he told us not to fear, be courageous, and soldier on. So that is what I believe I will remember Raila for, and I would want the millions of young people to remember him for that, despite the numerous challenges that he had to face as a man and as a politician.
Definitely. And Sunday, just on the same question, what are some of the, let's say, characters or things that built Raila for the upcoming political battles that he did face and conquered, nevertheless?
Okay, thank you. No, I'm still coming into terms of what I can say about the man, Raila Amolo Odinga. Because you see, in the last contest that he did for presidency, not even a single one that people accepted that he won. But it pains me yesterday when I had a member of the Goreti South in Parliament confessing that indeed Raila Amolo Odinga won election in 2007. And these are the same characters who are saying that the Raila we know has never accepted the defeat. So you see, it is always bad that when someone is alive, then you don't say the truth. And when someone dies, then you say the truth. It still pains up to now. But what I can say about how Raila managed, Raila mastered how to deal with the common people. He knew that he knew what citizen wants and what the government wants. So he was going towards what the citizen wants. So that even if you are a government, if you try to go against what Raila is saying,
Yeah.
but the masses, the people of Kenya, will indeed support what he's saying. And that's what made Raila to manage the government in all this political, yeah.
That's good. And Moses, I want you to come in here swiftly. What do you think are some of the characters that really made Raila who he is?
I'll start with the personal characters, of course. I believe Raila was truthful. You know, for you to survive in this Kenya's political landscape for all these decades, you must be truthful to your cause and to your political party. Raila was one of the few individuals in this country who was truthful to the cause. He was listening to the ground, whatever the people wanted. And an evidence can be showcased in 2023. I remember when they had already lost election in 2022, now he was calling his people to go and demonstrate against electoral malpractices in the country. And I remember Raila was saying very well that whether come rain, whether come sunshine, they'll be there. And he was truthful to his cause. And it was something, an ideology of which he used to live, believing in it, and he was ready to die for. He told his supporters. Raila was also understanding. When you ever look at the people, you know, this can be told. You saw when the news of Raila's death came in, and you saw how people were behaving. You know, you cannot behave wildly when the person who has just died was none of your best choices in the country. So this can showcase that Raila was somebody, and just like his supporters and other politicians would say, he was like a fourth arm of the government. He was very honest, kind, and apart from these personal attributes, I'll also say to survive in Kenya's political landscape, Raila made it through because he had also that experience and exposure. He had learned the art of politics from other countries, how to deal with the dictators, because he is one of the few individuals who survived Moi regime, he survived Kibaki regime, Uhuru Kenyatta regime, and now, of course, William Ruto regime. He survived all these amidst some of the turbulence. And the last attribute I'll give Raila must have also been a good reader of books, of course. When you have a look at the art of politics of Raila was working the same way Robert Greene was advising the people to work. In the political landscape, you must assume formlessness, and you must also guard your reputation. You must never outshine your master. So I'll say all this, the exposure, the personal attributes, and the experience he had from other countries made him very possible for him to at least navigate through the trodden political landscape we have in the country.
Indeed, those are some of the good, some of the attributes, and I wonder if Mr. Julius you can add some.
You know, Raila was just a collective definition of the patriotism and resilience. We've seen Raila had got a lot of titles. Actually, in the political field, Raila was an MP. He was Langata MP for quite some time, a lot of years.
15 years.
For 15 years, I think. Then from there, Raila has held a lot of positions, including being a minister, being a party leader, he was given a different role in AU in charge of infrastructure.
High Commissioner.
High Commissioner of Infrastructure. So he has all these positions. I don't think there's any other enjoyable positions that he wanted apart from the presidency. And the presidency also was in a position to touch it, especially in the 207, where each and every person can attest that Raila won the elections. But apart from that, you see, we have got, according to the provincial units, yes, or the administrative units, we were talking about the provinces, whereby we have got, or we had 8 provinces.
Yes.
And out of these provinces, if you look at these provinces, Raila had got automatic support in around 5 provinces. And these provinces are not limited to Nyanza province, where he enjoys 100% support. Western province, he enjoys 100% support. Where we have Nairobi, he enjoys around 80% support. You also have Coast, he enjoys around 80% support. And also we have Northeasterns, where also Raila had got total control. A man that we are mourning today could control 5 provinces and only leaving the 3 provinces for the other people. I think you can see how, I don't know whether it was a magic, but he had got what we call the political mobilization. Raila molds a lot of people. That's why you see a lot of young people are coming closer to him. We've seen several young leaders who are being molded into something that they are today. They were nothing before, but when Raila took them into the political space, Raila molded them, Raila guided them, and now we can see that they are very vibrant. That's why a lot of youth are in a position to love Raila. Raila is someone who was very, very much truthful, and he was also a source of unity, not only in the party of ODM, but also to all the leaders that we had. We've seen him also in terms of being a schemer. Scheming also helped him, because you find that he has formed a lot of coalitions. And in 2007, we were talking about the Pentagon.
Yeah.
Pentagon was very strong, and nobody could know that Pentagon could be defeated. He took people from different regions that came together and formed, including the current president of the Republic of Kenya, who is one of them, or brainchild of a Pentagon. We've seen Raila form CORD. CORD had got different hope that it was giving to the people of Kenya. Yes. And you saw CORD was very, very much strong. This is because Raila was a good schemer. He could check on the people that he was bringing on board so that they could drive the agenda together. So after CORD, we came to NASA. NASA came in 2017. I think nobody could know that NASA could be defeated. NASA was one of the strongest coalitions that we knew that if you are affiliated with the NASA, automatically you could become a PS or the cabinet secretary, or you could be having an ambassadorial position. Then from there, after NASA, now we are talking about what? Azimio. Who knew that Azimio could be defeated? So he was packaging all his campaigns. He was a good schemer. Whatever he was going for, he was a go-getter. He could go and fight for it irrespective of anything. Then also the handshakes. He was also a definition of the peaceful award. Yeah. Because you saw he shook hands with Uhuru Kenyatta until the country stabilized. We have now the political stability in the country. Little did we know that he could also shake hands with the current President Ruto. And now we are projecting, because I know after this also there might be, politics will have to continue. And also maybe in 2027, we'll see how the political environment will be. But right now, we are still mourning Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. Yes. The political affiliations will come later once Yakom Nyundo is arrested in peace.
Indeed, the political ramifications will just come a little bit later after we put him to rest. And I want to get your point on this, Mr. Fred. When his wife, Mama Ida, was speaking today, he did speak of a man that is very peaceful and preached peace. Do you think that that trait of being peaceful is the one that drove him to do a lot of handshake, even though it were not convenient at the time?
You know, Raila Odinga has, it can be defined in so many things, and peace is one of them. Yeah. You know, when he retired, not really retired, but when he, we keep referring to him as the former Prime Minister. But before we refer to him as the former Prime Minister, we need to remember what made him the Prime Minister in the first place. So you remember Kenya came from a very, very heated election in 2007.
Yes, yes.
And before that, Raila said Tosha, where he actually supported the late President Mwai Kibaki. Yes. With an agreement which probably Kenyans have never understood, that probably he would get that support in 2007. So whatever happened. When Kenya went for an election, it is one of the elections where most of us agree, whether you like or whether you liked or ascribed to the politics of Raila Odinga or not, that election was very much rigged. So for a man who had been rigged out of an election, you would not expect that Raila would actually step down and actually shake hands with his rival, because it was as clear as day and night that Raila was going to be the president. So he shook hands with the former president, the late President Mwai Kibaki, and rumors have it that actually his side was actually in a heated conversation and debates with the other side. But Raila said no, the country is bigger than myself. So he shook hands and he became the Prime Minister. Moving forward, we now come to every election after that. The former President Uhuru Kenyatta, of course, there is always a debate about who won in that particular election, 2013 and 2017. In both cases, in 2017, Raila shook hands with the former President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Right after declaring himself as the people's president. But then he looked at the bigger picture. He came back and told people that sometimes a country is bigger than an individual. And of course, that gave birth to building bridges, and the country gained its stability. Then fast forward to 2022. Just like Julius has actually alluded, who knew that Raila would shake hands with William Samoei Ruto? But these are disappointments that some of us, as his supporters, we have always carried that disappointment because we wonder. You can never really understand you would never really understand the politics of the Enigma Raila Amolo Odinga. But he sees very far. He actually sees very far and looks at the country and says personal sacrifices and makes personal sacrifices at the expense of what he stands to benefit. So if you're asking if this man was peaceful and this is what defined him, then yes, because by all means Raila Odinga has always put the country first over his personal interest. So we achieved the peace that we had last 2024. We had a very unfortunate situation with the Gen Zs. Gen Zs went on a demonstration. We all know that, and it almost led to something that none of us would want to imagine. You saw people went to parliament, and as someone who represents the millions of young people in this country under Kabila Vijana, of course we had our own opinions. We expected that the former Prime Minister, the late Raila Amolo Odinga, would actually join us in that movement. And we were really, really, really disappointed when he did not endorse that mandamanos, which led to deaths of so many people. Not knowing that he was actually seeing the other side of it. He actually made personal sacrifices. If there was a time in this country when Raila would actually ascend to power very easily, it was that time. But he didn't take that opportunity because he's a peaceful man. Mm-hmm. And that is why we remember him as a very peaceful man. Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's good. And Mr. Moses, you realize that when you talk about Raila, there are some times that he looks at the bigger picture. For example, in the 2024 Gen Z protest and
2024.
24 protest for the that was led by the young generation, popularly known as the Gen Z. And when you look at the condolences that Mr. President wrote today, is that Raila stood with him when no man wanted to stand with him at the time, helping steady the country. Do you think that that disappointment kind of dent his leadership?
Okay, first of all, before we give Raila all the success and what he did, let us not forget that Raila has a wife who is beside him. And in all the decisions that we are making for those who are married, there are also input of a wife. So you can imagine this is the man who was detained for 8 years. And the wife could still wait him until he was released. In the current generation now, Mr. Emmanuel, if you can be arrested now, and your wife just hears that Emmanuel is now arrested and will be detained for 2 years, I think it will only take maybe at most 6 months. Then that woman will not be in that compound.
Are you sure?
I'm very sure. But this is a woman who waited for Raila for 8 good years. And you see, the reason why I still love Raila is the first person who ensured that the prisoners also enjoyed their rights. They can do their conjugal rights. I think because the experience that he had when he was there made him now to initiate some things that can assist other people. So all can be said, but Raila, the one we know. Sometimes I do not say that Raila is not that a normal human being, but I don't know if I can say it a spirit.
Demigod.
because you see, people are saying that Raila has betrayed us. Most of the Gen Z, the Wakina Nyanduga, were saying Raila betrayed us and they joined hand with the current president, Ruto.
Yeah.
But yesterday, I was at Kasarani receiving the body of the right Raila. 90% of those who were in that stadium were the Gen Zs who came to witness Raila Amolo Odinga.
Yes.
And again, if you hear clearly what the young people were saying, some of them were just going with the narrative that Raila betrayed us. Mm-hmm. But some of them also said Baba, you've helped us. Now where you've reached, now rest.
We're going to take it from
Come, sit back, then we
take it
then we proceed. But being that Raila also was a peace-loving, if you see how people are demonstrating for the finance bill, had Raila not come in for the red-bossed government, we'll not be talking even here today. Yeah.
Indeed. And Mr. Moses Nyanduga, you have been mentioned here that you claimed that Raila kind of betrayed you. But do you think he really did because he really looked at the bigger picture? I mean, we need to have a stable country.
Let me first respond to Mr. Sunday. I'll say, as a young man who took part in all Gen Z demonstrations, Raila truly betrayed us, but we forgave him. This is the reason. When we said that it was enough, Baba, just stay at home, we'll do it this time, we meant that it was very appropriate for Raila to rest, owing to the fact that he had already contributed to the same very many years before us. But we never said that Raila was supposed to join President William Ruto at the moment. Although he joined him, we forgave him and the country must have just moved on. I do agree that the country was now taking a different kind of a phase, and we were headed into a very wrong direction. However, it was inappropriate for Raila to join President Ruto. This is the reason. We young people, we were talking about the education system in the country, the health system, the agriculture system, and we were also talking about our international policy, because President William Ruto was leading us into a very wrong direction, of course. Some of the decisions he was taking at the moment were so fatal for our development and democracy. As much as Raila joined him, we never saw that much change. And we questioned because, and of course we were right to question that. The reason being, when Raila took it to the street in 2023, it's like we were on the same page. He was also talking of the same grievances and demands we had in 2024. However, I'll give him a very great applause for joining President William Ruto, because even me as a young person myself, I'll not imagine living in a country led by military. I'll not imagine living in a country, you know, which has undergone a serious civil rights movement, you know, civil wars and whatever. So it was a great turn for the people, for the country, for the continent. But at the same time, we forgave him. And therefore, that is why we do say he can go in peace. So it was his time yesterday. And you know, as a truthful man, we were just to join him. Yeah, to see him as the final reset. Yes.
That's good.
But Mr. Emmanuel,
yeah. Yes.
Before you go to Julius,
Yeah.
personally, I still do not understand the betrayal that the young people are saying Raila did. Because when we were in Azimio, and I took part in part of those campaigns, and even Julius was in that team, the young people were following the current president, because the other people, they were saying were dynasties. So the president, William Ruto, was their man, and they really indeed voted for him. So when things went upside down,
yeah.
now if Baba decided now to join their man, now they are saying Baba has betrayed. How?
All right, I think we just
I'm just asking for even 1 minute to respond.
We will respond later.
Yeah, you know?
Umoja, Raila is peace-loving, and I think that's why he joined President William Ruto, right?
Not only that, you know, today as you also allow Obaba, Jacom, Tinga, Agwambu, Unyalego to go and rest in peace, there are things here that also, if we don't say, will not release him in a good way. However much we give him the credit on areas of achievements, there are some areas also that I think he did not do well, and I also will be in a position to forgive him, so that even if he's going to rest, he should be resting in a good power.
Forgiven.
And truly, at some points, we also deem him as a peaceful man. We've seen 2002, what he did, the moment he embraced Kibaki Tosha, meaning that the end of the Moi regime, because you know how Moi era was, and everybody was suffering, the whole country. The moment he endorsed Kibaki, we have got total peace in the country. We've also seen during this handshake things, or during the handshake with the President Uhuru Kenyatta, we had got a political stability. That one was a result of the peace that we got from when the two shook hands.
Yes.
We've also seen, I don't know whether you're still seeing peace when you shook hands with the President Ruto.
I think this,
but that one, I don't know, maybe if the definition of peace changed, but maybe it is peace. According to you, maybe it is peace. And I leave that at that point.
Okay.
You see, I'm not a member of ODM. I'm a member of Wiper Party. But we've seen some wrangles ongoing within the ODM party. We've seen Sifuna did this, Babu did this, this one did this. But you find that when Raila has a microphone, or when he had this microphone, he could say that no, leave Sifuna alone. I know what he's doing. So he could stop this gang which were against Sifuna, the gangs which were against Babu Wino, so that it could bring peace not only in the entire ODM, but also the peace that could emerge between Western region, maybe and the Nyanza region. It was a true definition of peace. And maybe with that, a lot of people, we've seen a lot of positive things happen through that, but also areas of betrayal are also there, of what my friend Nyanduga is saying. Because even us, we did the NADCO report together, which was, we had our person from the Azimio, Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, and after that, what happened with the implementation of the NADCO report? What is the committee, who are the committee members of the NADCO report implementation? There's nobody from Wiper. Is that not the definition of betrayal? So even if we are releasing him to go, I will not, if I don't say these things here on the screen, then we will not rest in power, because these are some of the areas that we think he betrayed us. So let us just be open, so that even if he's going to rest, because we respect Baba, whatever he has done, we celebrate, and some of the areas of weaknesses, as the young generation will pick and move to the areas of success.
Which takes me back, Emmanuel.
Yeah.
This actually reminds me, you know, every time I hear people talk about betrayal and Raila Odinga, it reminds me of the man, because the man has shouldered so much responsibilities for this country. And I would agree with Moses that the same man we refused to give power. We tremendously refused for so many times that Raila contested.
No, you only win with numbers.
Yeah, I mean, but then numbers don't lie, of course. So if the same man looks for these particular votes, and then he's denied by the same people who later on come and say that he's betrayed. I always remind my friends one thing. When a government is in place, we are supposed to task the government to do services to us. We are supposed to ask the government to do services to us. We are not supposed to ask the opposition. We are not supposed to ask someone who has lost that election and blame him and actually blame him for all the atrocities that are happening. And that is why to be Raila is very difficult. And I think that's why it's very correct to call him an enigma. Julius will blame Raila and say that he betrayed the young people, the Generation Z, because he sided with the regime that same generation, as Moses put in power. So I think, in all honesty and in all fairness, and I'm trying to be very fair here because I also represent these young people as a Secretary General, that let us not dilute the memories of the former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga, who is to be laid on Sunday, by talking about the betrayal, which never was. Raila did not betray anyone at any point. Raila had his responsibilities. He has done it to the best of his knowledge. He has carried it, and as we are going to lay him to rest, let Baba rest, knowing very well that he has done so much for this country.
Indeed, he has done so much for this country. And Mr. Moses Sande, you see, Raila has his power from the people. And yesterday, when you witnessed how the reception, especially of his body when he came, the remains came from India and at the JKIA, and people kinda distorted what was supposed to be a very honest, very choreographed, very official welcoming of the man to some kind of crazy rowdy people. I mean, what's the problem?
First of all, let me tell you, Mr. Emmanuel, the problem was not the people. The problem was the government.
Why?
I can tell you, and I always tell you every now and then, as someone who understands how security apparatus operate, You know, the problem we had, this country has never have somebody like Raila conduct a funeral of somebody such as like Raila. So they were thinking the way former President Moi died and was taken to parliament, the same to Kibaki, it will be so as the Raila. I normally go to JKI, but the JKI you cannot access when you have a motorbike, unless you have a letter from the police station inside there that you normally access.
Yes.
How then did they allow the motorbike to gain entry? I know at some point they broke the entry gate.
Yes.
That is there. Then again, our legislators, they should not just be rushing on making a decision. I tend to think these legislators never involved the security, the Kanja team, when they decided to shift the destination where we are viewing the body. What could have been done?
Yeah.
You see, the moment Raila touched down, they were to organize, to surround there with the security.
Yeah.
Because the Raila is just a normal person. He has followers. And in fact, him writing a will that let him be buried within 72 hours, I agree with him. Because if yesterday there was no business in the entire Nairobi, even the day before, the moment the news broke that Raila has died, there was no business, as in the norms.
Yeah.
So when the MPs decided that we are coming to view Raila's body at JKIA, they were not to allow people to access Kasarani before security appraisers access the stadium. Because I was there and I accessed that stadium. So people access stadium before the body arrives. And now they are playing within the pitch. So there was not, they didn't organize how the entry and the exit point.
Okay.
Yeah, and you see that one has made even we lost at least I hear we also, I don't have the figures, but
At least 3 people or more.
there are around 7 that we lost. Yeah.
All right. And on that note, we want to take a short commercial break here at GBS Television. We are speaking about the life of Raila Amolo Odinga, his legacy, and how he really shaped our country. Don't go too far. This is GBS Television, and this is an Insight Special.
We're going to be discussing dream chasing versus stability. Dream chasing versus stability.
Okay, dream chasing nayo ni ngumu. Juu unaweza kuwa una chase impossible dreams.
Okay.
But yet unaweza kuwa una chase possible dreams. So wewe tu ngangana na dream yako, one time utafika hapo.
Ukifika certain stage in life, make decisions peke yako, ndio ukiregret usikuwa na mtu wa kublame.
Yeah.
Just go for it. Ndio kikikuuma ni wewe imeuma.
Kuramba.
Na iki work out pia all the best, because si kila time uta-fail na si kila time uta-succeed, but hauwezi jua kama hujajaribu.
Mimi nitakuja hapa nikudanganye, soft life. Hujui hiyo soft life inatoka wapi? You guys just want to fly badala you take the stairs step by step. Obviously mtu wako pale juu alianzia somewhere. You can't tell me ati kama kuna alternative utafanya. Si basi wewe fanya. If that's what you want. Would you rather earn less doing what you love ama earn more doing what you hate?
Mi hata sita kudanganya ati napenda kukufia nchi yangu just because of the money that is there. Si ati anapenda kukua KDF, but it's because of the money that is there.
Okay, men are not smart like women.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
going to
true.
say that
That's
for a
true.
fact.
Wongo.
Right now, that is true. If me and Rachel say to pay 1 million, tupe mwaka moja, hiyo million itakuwa hata maybe 10. But if a man unashikanga tu na kiburi, sasa ndio unavaa
What's the best thing about being a fashion designer?
The
best thing is that you can make something for yourself. May I just say that? Like, you can just let your mind be creative. You're not limiting it, and you create something, and every time I make something, I just look at it and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
What do you mean emotion? I don't even know. I just be like that. Yes.
And what do you think is required for someone to make it in the fashion industry? So umekuja na vitu, umekuja na mapochopocho. You've come with like really amazing things. Utatuanzia na answer from the front ukikuja to the back.
Okay. That is something, when you look at it like this, you'll have to sit down and figure it out. Like, how did this person make this wallet? You see, this is art. You can also create yarn from like t-shirts. Yes. So that's what I'm trying to change. I want to create sustainable fashion where you don't have to go and buy yarn to crochet. You can just create yarn at your space, or you can go and thrift clothes, clothes made of yarn.
Yeah.
Hi kids, welcome to Kids Mind, where we learn, we laugh, and we explore. So kids, are you ready to listen to our today's Bible story? Are you ready to listen?
You're happy and you know, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know, clap your hands.
Samson was a mighty man, a mighty man was he. Samson was a mighty man, a mighty man was he. Samson was a mighty man, a mighty man was he. Between a want or a need, which one is more wise?
So it's anime and cosplay in Kenya.
I came to know about anime when I was a teenager, because that's when I knew, oh, it's not a cartoon, it's an anime. And I came to realize, oh, it's a whole thing, and it's a whole culture, and it's a whole community behind it.
I remember I used to watch Dragon Ball Z, but that time I didn't know it was
Yeah,
anime.
true.
I thought it was a cartoon.
Yeah.
Oh, let me go watch cartoon.
Anime has been there, it's just growing with time, and people are getting to know more about it.
This has been going on since 2016. Like, people have been meeting up for anime and DC, whatever nerdism you engage in since 2016.
Cosplay, basically, what it says is costume play.
Role play.
Yeah, so you dress up as a character from an anime, and that's just it.
So character likeness, how much do you look like the character?
Some parents see anime as just cartoons,
You're like the
which is true. What's your take on this perception?
Hizo cartoons zako zenye unawatch.
Me doesn't bother me at all. Most of the most popular anime we enjoy today, Jujutsu Kaisen, is for kids. Naruto is for kids. One Piece is for kids. So yeah, it's never bothered me when people are like, anime is for kids, anime is cartoons. I say this as someone who's been watching anime for 15 years. Anime is cartoons.
Everywhere, GBS.
Well, thank you so much for staying with the Insight. I'm still here with Fred Osiro from Kabila La Vijana. He's the Secretary General. Thank you so much for staying with us.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel.
And we have Mr. Moses Sando Mondi, who is vying for the member of County Assembly seat.
Southeast Alego.
Southeast Alego, come 2027.
Thank you.
Good luck for that.
Asante.
And Mr. Moses Nyanduga, student leader.
Thank you.
And of course, Mr. Julius Umoja from the Wiper Patriotic Front, one of our most trusted analysts. International?
And we are okay.
Gentlemen, I want us to get into how the youth, what the youth were expecting, especially from Raila Odinga, and what they got. And I'll start with you, Mr. Fred.
Yes, I think we left it when you were talking about the expectations of the young people.
Yeah.
Throughout the years, Raila has been active in politics. But let us put things into perspective here. If the youth were expecting Raila Odinga to stand by them, then by all means he has done that in all his life, all his lifetime. For someone who has fought for so many things that we have talked about, the democracy, the devolution, the constitution that we are enjoying today, which again brought so many things that the youth still enjoy till today, including freedom of expression. Of course, our young people are so huge on social media, and the freedom that they enjoy, they are posting the things that they continue to post, including myself. I'm a very heavy user of social media, and I was not there, but I know from history that some many years back you could not post something against the president and survive to see the next day. So these are some of the freedoms that Raila and so many other people have fought for, and the young people continue to enjoy them until today. So on that alone, Raila has fought for the young people. When you come to the expectations with their protest, the Gen Z protest, of course, we cannot dismiss that there were very, very valid concerns. Myself, I was also involved in the protest. We were pushing back against dictatorship and bad leadership that was at that particular time, which probably is still there, with the finance bill. And I think the bone of contention at that point was the finance bill. So we pushed back, and the government responded in the only way it knows, which is to fight back and to, very unfortunately, many young people who were abducted, some who were shot and killed on the streets, despite being very peaceful, largely peaceful, because the youth are always very peaceful. We know very well the history of police brutality in this country. So they did that. There is no point Raila Odinga came out and condemned those demonstrations. Let us just be factual. There is no particular point Raila came out to condemn those demonstrations. Raila has been brought up by demonstrations, in fact. The only thing that, the only time Raila came out was when the Gen Zs went to parliament. And Emmanuel, you know, I'm not well read on security matters, but I hear that the parliament is one of the most protected arms of government and territories. So anyone who encroaches parliament is actually posing a risk to national security. So, and of course, you know how the government reacted. Very, very unfortunate. Many people were killed at parliament buildings. And this is what Raila came out to actually to prevent such a thing from happening again. So of course he went and did what he does best, which is to dialogue. Raila has, let me remind you, Raila has fought for so many electoral jurisprudences. Every time every time we go to an election, and he actually comes out as a loser, he has always gone to court, which is an angle that most people would have actually picked. He goes to court because he believes in the rule of law. He went to court, and every time there is a process that is initiated. With every handshake, there is a process that is initiated. Remember, with the Uhuru, it was Building Bridges Initiative. Gave birth to so many things. We now have the broad-based government, which has also gave birth to so many things, which some I know we may really disagree with because of how it's actually overstretching our budget. But he believed in the rule of law, which is what I want us to emphasize on, so that we do not talk about betrayal of any nature.
All right,
Yes.
and Julius, I want you to come in here because you are largely affiliated with the youth, especially in the Wiper Patriotic Front, and you've been in the political space for some time. Do you think that whatever the young people were expecting of Raila is what he came out and accomplished?
You know, what happens is that since over some time, I've always believed within the philosophy of Raila Amolo Odinga, especially the time that he was also working closely with my party leader, Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, of which I think they have served for nearly a period of 15 years. And I did believe in the philosophies. But it is not, the philosophies maybe are still constant, because we've seen the love that is affiliated with that. Majority of those who are in a position to receive the body of Raila Amolo Odinga yesterday, majority were youths. Both receiving it with the love and also within the culture of Leluo. So some of the things that you are seeing there, some of them were a blend with it, of love and Luo culture, and of which we understand that even tomorrow when they will be going to Kisumu, that is how they will be having the epitome of the Luo culture, and we will be seeing even animals on the road as a way that we are mourning a hero within
an enigma.
Within the Luo nation. Now, back to whatever you've asked.
Yeah.
You see, youth, they have got different interests. And especially if you want the hardest part in politics, is whereby you can be in a position to massage each and every interest of a youth. They are some are not achievable within the constitution. Others, they just need it at that particular point. They cannot postpone. And then if you want to bring them something that is vision-oriented, they cannot be in a position to judge that up. They just need it there. So massaging youth's interest at times is very hard. But as a leader, you must be in a position to try at least and massage a few. Now, you see, we've seen a lot of people grow, especially within the leadership of Raila Odinga. He has held a lot of hands. And we've seen the likes of Ababu Namwamba. Who knew Ababu Namwamba without Raila Odinga? When he was so young, he was just a youth. We've seen the likes of Sifuna. He has now grown because of the guidance and the leadership of Raila Odinga. We've seen the likes of Babu Owino.
Yeah.
Who knew him? Nobody. But from the guidance of Raila Odinga, we've seen him grow. Raila also has recognized the bunge la wananchi. Who knew Gaucho without Raila Odinga? And at least he has also he has left Gaucho when at least his life is a little bit somewhere. We've seen Nuru Okanga, one of the sycophants, 100% of Raila Odinga. Who knew them? Also, Raila held their hands and showed them the way that this is the way to go. You see this evolution that Raila Odinga is one of the champions and the brainchild. We didn't know that we could be having a representation of the youth in the county assembly and as well as the national assembly. Right now we have nominated MCAs, and within the nominated MCAs we must be having a slot for the youth. So we have got the representation of the youth at the county level.
Yes.
That we celebrate up to today. You know that even if the leadership, that all if the elective positions, we have got the old people within the county government. But you must be having one specific slot that will be meant for youth to champion the interest of the youth within county assembly. Secondly, we've seen a lot of youths being given or being awarded different job positions. Maybe based on the loyalty or based on whatever you can champion. We've seen, for example, Fikirini Jacob. Fikirini Jacob is one of the people that have been awarded job positions by Raila Odinga. And also when my party leader, Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, was giving out his speech about Raila Odinga, he did say that he learned a lot through Raila Odinga on the current leadership status that he's in. But now when it comes to this part of the youth, there's no leader that can satisfy youth 100%. Even we have the representative of the Kabila la Vijana. He will tell you that even with them, the interests are so many that massaging them, you will have to, this person has to, even Museveni who has been in power for so long, cannot massage the interest of the youth. The interest of the youth, they are needed there, they are mandatory. Even if you don't accomplish one, they will tell you in your eyes that there's nowhere you will go. So, but he did. Raila did try, and we appreciate him for that. We've seen a lot of fruits that he did in terms of championing for the youth leadership, youth inclusion, youth integration in different parts of the government. Yes.
That was good. And Mr. Mr. Moses, it seems that the youthful generation cannot be satisfied, even if you are.
Yes, I'll say, let me start with the expectations we had from Raila.
Yeah.
I'll say, Emmanuel, Raila, he performed more than 80% of our expectations. We expected Raila to promote unity in the country. At a time when the country was being divided along tribal lines, he managed to do that very excellently. We expected Raila to fight corruption. He achieved. And I'll tell you, Moja, our expectations are just achievable depending on the people in the committee of implementation. You know, when we have expectations and as young people, then you want to bring people of 60 years, 70 years, who don't understand what we champion for, then that is where we can say some of our expectations can be so difficult to achieve. However, Raila Odinga performed more than 80%. That's a very excellent performance, of course. He achieved majority of our expectations. And like I said in my earlier comment, as human beings, we do have our advantages and disadvantages. Nobody at this stage should expect Raila Odinga to be a Jesus Christ to achieve everything, of course, as a human being. For the wrongs he committed to the world, we forgave him, and I believe God himself had already forgiven him, But moving forward, the spirit of Raila Odinga will still live in us. As young people, we'll continue to champion for our rights, democracy, and freedom. We shall march for a democratic and procedural electoral justice in the country. We don't want a situation whereby losers are the ones who are being announced as the winners, and the winners, some of them, of course, once they get into power, they misuse. You know, you cannot turn to be a dictator simply because you are democratically elected. By doing that, you are just a yoke in the collective necks of the Wananchi. And therefore, the spirit of Raila Odinga will continue to live in our hearts. As young people, we believe in this vision, his freedom for human rights, and our demands are achievable depending on whoever in the Commission of Implementation.
All right.
Yeah.
I just want to.
But you must also insist to be on the table.
Yes, we need young people.
Yes.
You know, youth, they want to be all in the menu and on the table.
It's just like democracy, for the people, by the people, and of the people. So that's how development works.
That's crazy. I know how that would work. Now, Mr. Moses, I want you to come here. There's a lot of debate onto Raila's political journey. Do you think he was consistent, especially in championing for whatever he believed in as far as ideology was concerned?
You know, before that, Julius has reminded me of the youth, and you see, just the other day I was listening to Museveni's speech. Yeah. And he has been in power since 1981. And now he was saying that he wants to create employment for unemployed youth.
Now is the time.
Now it is the time to create employment. So you see, youths are not patient. Just the way my friend has just said. You see, even if you want to build a house, you must lay the foundation.
Foundation, yes.
The same youths are now are also forgetting that if you are 1 year today, tomorrow you are 1 year 2 days.
Yes.
2024, the person who was 35 years, by 2027, he is not a youth.
Yeah.
But he was in that group back then. So we must also look at that. Before you say that we youth, we want the A, B, C, D. We must look on a system that even if you are past that youth, it can still favor you and favor those who are within that bracket.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I asked you a question. Do you think that Raila's journey has it been consistent in terms of championing for his ideology?
Yeah. You know, the man Raila, had it not to be consistent, even the recent broad-based will not be there. Because you see, if I still come back to the youth, you know, what the youth were expecting is that they have voted for Ruto, the president. And the president is not meeting their demands. Now, there is that mindset that has been in people's mind that Raila was born opposition leader. He must put government in task for reforms. So when Raila is coming to ask them for votes, there's people who love Raila, yes, those views, but they are saying, if we vote in Raila as the president, no one will be defending us. No one will protect our interests. That is, someone said, let us vote for Moses. And leave Raila. So that when Raila is when Moses is messing, Raila will come to assist us in fighting Moses. Now they were expecting that having made that mistake, now Raila should just come. Notwithstanding that Raila was aged now. He needed to rest. Because even if you hear when the doctor was saying what killed the former prime minister, in my view, I realized this man has been sickly. And it's the person who loves people and loves peace and wants things done the right way, he was forcing himself to be in the limelight. And that one has, to some extent, has costed him. Yeah.
All right. I just, on that question, do you think that Mr. Raila Odinga, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, has been consistent, especially in championing for his ideologies, whatever he believes in the country?
Raila Odinga has been consistent since we know him, because or spanning back from when he started,
yes,
you know, all the way to where he is today. I mean, to where he was before his demise. Raila Odinga has been a consistent man. I remember, I remember there was a demonstration And I was just joking with my friends about Maandamano Tuesdays. I wonder who will call those Maandamanos now. The Maandamano Monday, Maandamano Tuesdays, and one of the Maandamanos that stand out for me was the anti-IBC protest, and I remember it was in the anniversary towers. Raila called for demonstrations. I think that was COD.
Yeah.
Raila called for demonstrations, and he actually turned up. He actually came for that demonstration at his age, and he has always come for those demonstrations. One of the most famous photos taken of him when he was being tear gassed was actually at that time. I remember I also saw Moses Wetangula, the current speaker, was also with him then. And much as I also associate with Kalonzo, and he's a man I respect so much. I don't know.
Julius
Julius will explain to us where Kalonzo was at that time, because Raila has been consistent. He has always showed up for these particular exercises, things he believes in, because he believes in a democratic country, and when he says it, he actually does it. So, and again, it reminds me of when he saw himself, people's president.
Yeah.
For a man who has such kind of a huge following, and the government would be interested to know his moves, Raila showed up. I don't want to remind some of us here about the other principals who did not show up at Uhuru Park because probably I don't know if it's the fear for this revolution or what. And Raila should be given his respect for that, because and again, I think I was also reminding my friend about Raila being born from a family that was well off. He didn't have to fight for these things, by the way. Raila was just to be born and be a cool kid, but he decided to actually chart his own path. To actually form his own path, and he fought for it, and he won the interest of the love that we are talking about. You see, JKA people are even coming. Going into the airspace, something that has never been seen. And then now you saw what happened in Kasarani and also what happened today. This is just an organic love that comes from someone who has believed and has fought for what he believes in. Yeah, so I believe Raila has been consistent.
All right, and you challenged Mr. Julius there where his leader was during the swearing in of the people's president. Where was he?
You cannot arrange something, and when it reaches that day, you change your number into an USA number. Anyway, that one is a story for another day. What I want to put here is that at least in terms of the consistency of politics of Raila Amolo Odinga, the late, we can say that is the definition of consistency in politics. Because since he came into light in the year 1982 in the political space, up to the time he rested, even those who are born, how many people, even if you go to Nyanza, you find that a lot of children, they have been named after Raila Amolo Odinga. Most of them are being called Raila. You cannot call your child by the name Raila if you know truly that the behaviors of the person you're looking for after is someone that is not deemed fit behavior-wise. So we've seen the positions that he has. Is someone that if this one failed, he could look for option B. After serving as an MP, and now he became into the political space by bringing Kibaki on board, and also actually is the one who tried to strengthen that relationship first between Kikuyu and Wajaluo, so that intermarriages can take place. Because a lot of people that are married to Luo Kikuyu, it started in 2002. Actually, after Raila shook hands with the late President Moi Kibaki. And that one aside, out of these positions that he has held, we've seen the demonstration. These demonstrations that were being done, they were aimed at fighting for whatever you had proposed and is not being implemented. And I want to tell my friend here that nobody was born to be an opposition leader. Opposition leader, you automatically pick it after failing an election. So that number 2 by constitution, you become automatically the opposition leader. And we will see that in 2027. Now, what happens is that you saw during his coalition of Pentagon. Pentagon, I am still repeating here, that Pentagon was very, very strong. The Pentagon was to keep the consistency of 2002 to 2007. Actually, 2002, Raila went to the ballot not only to put Kibaki ahead. He went there so that they could remove the Moi regime, so that people could have that democracy, will of expression as Kenyan citizen. But 2007, that is where he truly started his journey of the presidency. With us, we gave him all the best as the Luo nation. By then, 2007.
But he ran in 1997? Right?
You see, when he ran in 1997, if you've been seeing the gaps or the number of the votes that he was gathering during that time, you'll find that in 2007, that is when he garnered the right votes of which could declare him as a president. In political journey, you have to start from somewhere. Even these people that have made it into success from the political space, all of them, even you can find that somebody did not even pass nomination, and now he calls himself an MP. He started from somewhere. You have to remain in politics. Majority, you have to remain first, is when you can learn and get into a better political position. Baba did it. He made it a success. He made it very consistent until the last minute. Because ODM celebrating 20 years. We've seen a lot of political parties. And I'm challenging him because he also wants to register his own political party. I don't know. Of Kabila Vijana. If he'll be celebrating 20 years,
and I invite you.
Very.
Kabila Vijana includes you and everyone. So I invite you, my brother.
That will be very great achievement. Yeah. Because for you to celebrate 20 years within a political party, meaning that you have consistency, meaning that you are trustworthy, meaning that your party embraces what we call integrity and love, and you have got total love within all parts of the country. We've seen a lot of, even these MPs positions, we've been having solid support for Raila Amolo Odinga in Luo Nyanza all those years. We've seen other regions also support him. However, also other political leaders, they have got different political strongholds from where they come from. Yes. His consistency was worth it. And his consistency is what has shaped and has made us where we've reached right now. Why is not for his political consistency, we've seen a lot of leaders go home. Even other leaders that have acted or have served in different political positions. Even now, even if you mention their names, people can really forget. People like, for example, Mudi Awori, who was one of the local veterans in politics in Kenya. Since he went without that consistency, you no longer be anywhere in the political space. His consistency made him still visible, up to date. The time he was not with any portfolio within the government, but he could shake and make decisions for this particular government, and we could see them being implemented. Yes.
That's good. And Moses, you can just come in there.
Yes, I'll say Raila's political school was of goodwill to the people. Raila was very consistent. You know, it's very hard. I think you'll have to relate Raila being 80 years and in fact, successfully attending political rallies. You can't relate Raila of 80 years to people we have in the village, people who are of such age. By virtue of being old, Raila was a figure, not only to unite Kenyans, but remind us consistently that there comes a time when the nation is greater than oneself. Raila joined active politics. In fact, Raila came to that nationwide and know-how in 1982 after the failed coup attempt. But since 1982, even if he was in jail, we have seen his journey from 82 to 2025 here, either as a candidate or one of the political influencers who actually determined the electoral results. And I'll say, when Raila contested for presidency, first in 1997, just like Umoja said, we have to start from somewhere. Have a look at that scenario, and the good thing, he was somebody who was in a position to learn. Having learned that united, they shall remove Moi, he unfolded his ambition and spirit, of course, of vying again in 2002. By saying Kibaki Tosha, that alone was humanity at its very best. When Kibaki won, we knew what happened after that. In 2005 again, Raila was leading another Reform the Constitution movement, which of course led to the birth of the so-called ODM we have today. After 2005, we went to 2007. After the post-election violence, Raila was in a position to sit down with President Mwai Kibaki. Of course, he did some of the things, even me, myself. Should I be a candidate to win the election? Of course, I can't do with my opposer, but he was in a position to do that. 2013, 2017, in fact, he took the initiative of reminding his supporters in 2018 that even if we failed, but actually he knew, according to him and his supporters, that he won election at that time. He took the initiative of being sworn in as the people's president, and life continued. the achievements Raila made from 1980s up to 2025, none of the so-called current Kenyan presidents, in fact, let me call a spade. Even all these presidents have not achieved this. Raila was the only politician whose supporters were even ready to die for him. You remember when some were saying, arrest Raila Amolo Odinga, nothing will happen. You heard what happened. His supporters said, if you have never seen a country like this before, then dare arrest Raila Odinga. His people stood by his side. At 80 years, somebody still attending successfully political rallies and supporting other politicians, and in fact endorsing young people like me. At the time when Raila endorsed people like Bob Owino, my current age and the age at that time of Bob Owino, there is not that much difference. When he was endorsed in 2017, he won election. Just like he said, P.S. Jacobs, people like Nuru Okanga, who knew or who, no politician in this country of caliber just like Raila Odinga can go to Bunge la Wananchi and endorse some of those young people and even board the same plane with them. It shows humanity. We have seen these people, President William Ruto, we had Uhuru Kenyatta, nobody was in a position to do that. His consistency made him a political pillar, not only in Kenya, East Africa, and the Africa at large. And his highest accolade, of course, in this regard, was being appointed as the High Commissioner for Infrastructure in Africa.
Indeed, and there's a lot of things that did happen, especially in his political life. And of course, he amassed critics, and some of them, especially even recently, we had members of your party criticizing him. And I want to bring Mr. Sande here. What do you think that some of the critics of Mr. Odinga did misunderstand about his political intention?
Politics is all about interest. Once we are within the same camp, the moment I've shifted to another camp, there must be a narrative. And these people have been together. The former VP, the Rigiji, and the Raila, the late now. They know each other well. It is us who are now being fooled here on the ground that so-and-so is bad, so-and-so is good. But in the long run, this will share notes. Yeah. At some points, and he can tell you, we can throw words in the podium, but by evening, we are somewhere sharing notes with them. So there's no difference between, there's nothing that Raila did wrong for the other team and this other team. There's one thing, totally they cannot disclose because the interest of their followers. Yeah.
All right, and I just want to come in. Do you think that some of the misunderstanding that did came from the critics of Raila Odinga on his political intentions?
I'd not look at it like misunderstanding, because these are politicians, and politicians have their own interests. Politicians have their own policies, and one thing that I've always mentioned is that about Raila is that to understand Raila's kind of politics, you'll have to have a Raila kind of reasoning. You'll have to get to a level where you understand this man Raila Odinga. So it's not misunderstanding, because they also have their own policies. They also have their own manifestos, in short. And at some point, when they come together, then they have to align their interests to reflect the same thing. So if you see, for example, the party leader of Wiper, Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, man who I really, really respect and really admire his kind of politics, disagree with Raila. It's not about, we would not say it's a misunderstanding or anything personal. It is the policies and their manifestos, and at that particular time, where are they placed? Because when you look at Raila being with the president, William Samoei Ruto, the party leader of Wiper perceived Raila to have endorsed almost everything that Ruto stands for. And again, Raila has always been very, very clear on what he is actually agreeing on with the president, William Samoei Ruto. And he says that he stands on a particular polls or agendas which he wants to be implemented. So Kalonzo and Rigathi Gachagua and the other people in the opposition I would just call them, they have always felt, you know, a little bit uncomfortable, which politically is okay, because they feel that Raila and Ruto is a force that you cannot beat. You know, so for them they spoke from an angle of political competitions. But Raila has always been very clear, and let us not forget that Raila did not endorse William Samoei Ruto, and he has never endorsed William Samoei Ruto in any way. Just like he did not endorse Uhuru Kenyatta when they shook hands. He comes in with his own policies, which he believes can be implemented under a dialogue kind of a situation. Which reminds me, I mentioned that every time Raila contests an election, he goes to court, he fights for it, and then introduces a few clauses or a few things that he feels as a country, if these items can be brought forward, then the country can move forward, you know, in a better way. They can chart the way forward. But I wanted to mention, because I had someone mention that about people and politicians disagreeing with Raila and how can they move forward with it. You know, I was just joking with my friend that Raila has left so many political orphans, you know, the people who relied on Raila Amolo Odinga for political direction. And that is both in government and in opposition, including the current opposition as it is today. It's just a matter of time, and once you bury Raila Amolo Odinga, you will hear these kinds of politics from the opposition about Raila having endorsed who, Raila having left the opposition for who, because that is what we always looking at Raila as a demigod who has to say something, who has to endorse someone for some reasons. And I think this is also one of the frictions that he had with our former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka. The waiting, is Raila going to endorse? Is Raila going to support me? Is Raila going to say something that is going to give me some political mileage? And those disagreements, unfortunately, when it plays on the public, then people want to now believe Raila does not fight for them. And the opposition has the advantage of running away with it, because Raila is associated with who? The government. Yeah.
Julius, you've been mentioned adversely here.
You know, I want to tell my colleague here that at times he should be switching off his data to avoid the TikTok-based prejudgmental politics, which are skewed towards the opposition. You know what happens with the opposition, and right now, you see, we are the only opposition because there's no any other opposition. We are opposition in form of the Azimio coalition. We are still members of the Azimio. But ODM, they came out of the Azimio and went and formed something that has no forth, has no way forward, called the broad what?
Are you in Azimio really?
Broad-based.
I think you're the first people to leave Azimio.
No, you see, let me tell you one thing.
Yeah.
You leave a coalition in form of writing. Yes. You write to the ORPP, the ORPP approves you to exit a coalition. We've never written to Azimio. It's when now we want to form our own coalition. But this coalition that is going to comprise of PLP, DP, DCP, Wiper, Jubilee, and Hekima Party and many other parties which I know they are coming back at night and they want to form a coalition with us. And I want to tell him that there is only their party that he supports too much that will be in the middle, that will be in the dark. The reason why I'm saying this, it is a high time, my friends. You come to the vehicle that is already on the road. Don't go to the vehicle that is at the mechanic.
That is waiting.
That you don't know whether the house got a fuel or not. At least our vehicle is full tank. But coming to the politics of it, because I know that one you'll give us better platform to dissect it later on.
Exactly.
But I want to tell him that there are some few issues which emerged. We were part and parcel of the BBI.
Yes.
We were part and parcel of the NADCO, but we are not part and parcel of the broad-based government. Because if you want to leave, we were in a coalition, all of us. But if you want to leave, you must bring your thoughts on the table as a coalition. We discuss, we see the way forward. If we are in for it, well and good. If we are not, but even as a meal, they even refused that we could not do a post-mortem in the election. So that what is the way forward? With them, they left fighting for the common man. And out of the votes that they got, out of the 6 point something votes, 6 million and something, we also contributed immensely. Because with us, we vote as a bloc. We vote as a bloc as the Eastern Province, and we also voted as a bloc in terms of Nyanza. And I'm telling him, and I think one of these few days, after we rest His Excellency in peace, will come back again. And I only need him only on the table together with them, so that I give him the facts. I need to give him some facts, so that he can come as early as possible. Because if he comes very late, we'll also put him at the balcony and tell him that you rest here, and we are in the sitting room as we manage a lot of things. We still appreciate, and some of the good thoughts that Baba had for this nation, may the good ones be implemented, may the best one be embraced as we continue not only in the current government and also our good governments that are coming, because there's no government that will come and scrap off the devolution, there's no government that will come and scrap off the Constitution 2010, there's no government that will come and scrap off the ports that we've seen, there's no government that will come and scrap off the thicker superhighway that Raila Odinga contributed immensely. So these are some of the benchmarks that we wish to see, that if he did this, can we be in a position to implement more and more? Because Kenya, as we speak, our GDP is so high that can implement a lot of things. May all his thoughts that we had, may them continue in the current and the leadership that we have beyond.
And just on that, Mr. Julius, still on you, do you think there are some kind of leadership skills, rather traits that our current leadership can borrow a leaf from Mr. Odinga?
Yes. Raila was one of the most humble people. He was very humble, down to earth. I remember even if you saw a clip when he was at Kisii and he wanted to leave and go to Kisumu. Then just some young people asking, can we have a lift in your helicopter? Yes, there's no problem. Leave them, they come. And in fact, they even went to Kisumu. Raila was one of the most humble people. Raila was very, very supportive. And in terms of the integrity, he was of good integrity, but political honesty, I don't know. That one I cannot approve, because you know, political honesty is bestowed within the heart of someone. But whatever came out to us lately, we can say that his political honesty was partial, and I think it was just because of him making decision on the best way to go. But we learn a lot of things from him, his support, his dedication, balancing between the political field and the family. So we've really learned a lot, and some we take as a lesson, but those that we feel, because there's no leader that is 100% complete, those that we feel that he was not in a position to be accomplishing in terms of his characters, maybe as leaders we can drop, but those that we feel they are good and there's things that we can help us set the good examples to the rest, we'll try to be in a position to uplift.
Yeah, Nyanduga, you can just give us some of the character traits, leadership good traits that probably our leadership currently can borrow from the life and times of Mr. Odinga?
Yes, I'll give you some. And I don't know whether the current crop of leaders, as we have them today, are even ready to learn in the first place. But should they be ready to learn, then I'll say they can learn the following. They must first learn that procrastination is the key to self-destruction. Raila Odinga, anytime he was interested, in fact, in vying to be a presidential candidate, we saw Raila starting so early. Raila had a plan. Raila was so much organized. Of course, you'll just tell with the way he used to perform his rhetorics, with the way he used to perform everything, including schemes. I'll say the art of humanity. Raila was a kind of a leader who never wanted leadership as a result of bloodshed. There came a time when he used to say that the nation must move on and the nation is bigger than oneself, that there is no reason being a president after very many people have lost their lives. They must also learn to be kind and truthful to the people. Raila's backyard, especially the Nyanza region, to say the truth, Raila was loyal to his people. He used to listen. And you remember when Raila was coming from America, even before being sworn in, Raila was moving from one county to another to consolidate, and in fact ask his supporters, should I continue with this movement or not? At every given point, he used to be endorsed by the people. He was responsible at the same time. You know, you cannot win that much heart of people without a sense of responsibility. He made it his personal initiative of improving the ODM party. At 20 years, we do say that majority of the political parties we have had are just perennial, of course. Not perennial in the sense that they have been so much consistent when it comes to elections. But after 6 months or even 2 years, we have seen some of them being scraped off. Think of a situation whereby we had the PNU. We had the PNU, of course, they won election, but today there is no serious PNU in terms of membership. We have had several political parties in between, including Jubilee, but Raila made it his personal initiative of improving ODM, and therefore our leaders need to learn a sense of responsibility, especially if you are at the front seat to lead your people.
Now, since Mr. Sunday, you want to be an MCA, what do you learn from Raila Odinga that will shape your political career in the future?
First of all, what my colleagues are forgetting is that no any other coalition or party that has ever remained relevant after winning an election. And ODM has been in existence because he has never won an election for presidency. And now each and every time they are now regaining their people saying now the next election, give us support. We must win. So the followers and the supporters of the coalition has a believing that we are going to win. And we are winning using ODM. But assuming ODM won in 2007, I'm very sure we could be having another coalition. Yeah. But leaving alone that, you know, Raila was a very brave person, and he was not selfish. And Raila planted people in almost the entire tribe.
Yes.
Because I remember when my first company, when I was employed, I happened to meet a driver who was a Kamba. And he told me that when Raila was Minister for Road, Raila is the one who taught her daughter from TTC College, the entire course. But he was not even telling people he's helping so and so and so. So he was also very secretive on what he was doing. So when you are very secretive and doing the right thing, then you go far. So the people will be condemning you that you are not doing A, B, C, D, but there is a team that knows that you are doing the right thing. So if the majority outweighs this other one, then you will just go. Another thing that my colleague said about the political orphan, I think what he was trying to say is that, you know, there are people who have been taking advantage of Raila Amolo Odinga, and it is across the divide. If you come to Nyanza and you don't have money to reach a certain group that can take you to Raila, then you find it difficult to be elected, because the person that will, the highest bidder, will be the person who will be fronted to Raila. As long as someone gets a ticket of ODM, that person already is elected. He's just elected in waiting. Then if you come to Mount Kenya, again, if you don't castigate Raila Odinga
properly,
then you will not be elected. So you see, there is often from Nyanza and from Mount Kenya. Those who are relying on castigating that Raila is a bad person, if we elect Raila, this and this and this will not come to our community. Now, if they take a microphone next time, we will be trying to listen what they will say to their people so that they can get elected. Then when you come now again to where I come from, Nyanza, there is no any single leader that can come to podium and mention two things without mentioning the name of Raila. Now, going forward, when we will be resting our leader, ask the young generation, what we need is you tell us what you want to do or what you've done. In fact, if you are elected leader, tell us what you have done, not what you want to do. Don't come, we don't want to hear now the name of Raila, A, B, C, D. We want Raila to rest in peace. We accord him the maximum respect needed. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. And hold that thought, because we want to take a short commercial break here at GBS Television. We're speaking about Raila Odinga, the man, life, legacy, and his time. This is GBS Television, an Insight Special.
We're going to be talking about the rock industry and rock culture in Kenya.
When an artist goes into a studio thinking about a hit song, God walks out of the room. So msanii achaguangi hit, hakuna msanii achaguangi hit. Like even most of the hit songs, some of the songs zinakuanga zile msanii hata apendi kwa hiyo.
Well, that's true. This pressure that is coming in, you need to feed your audience what they want to be fed with, right? What is trending, you need to go as per what is trending. So if you ask a majority of people out here, yes, rock music is there, it is being played, but it's not recognized sana.
Some years back reggae music used to have a stereotype too. Reggae ilikuwa ya watu wa bangi, ya watu
sijui
kama mtu alikufa, assuming someone died who died in the 90s, someone died in 1995, akifufuka saa hii na watu wanasikia reggae, he'd be very shocked. My goal is to demystify rock in Africa kwa sababu music is music, guitar, the rock, all music came from Africa. Muziki haina kabila. How do I put muziki haina kabila? In fact, they'd be shocked. The rock music we know as of now came from black people. Wakamba ndio marockstar Kenya, high Kambas. You know the way they play the guitar is just an expression. Yeah, there's Kikuyu gospel hard rock, a guy called Kanyaki for example. So it's very misunderstood. Watu wanasema ni ya madevo, ni ya wazungu.
Some of the misconceptions that people think about when it comes to modeling, especially female models.
Yeah.
How do you deal with negative feedback?
I tell you, embrace yourself, own your own identity, and don't rush to grow up. Know yourself first before you decide on what you want to do.
Your parents know that you're doing actual science.
Yes.
Then they heard that you're doing modeling.
Yeah.
How do they feel about that? What are you looking at after Miss Popularity? There's something you like to do on this show. Nataka uangalie kwa ile camera. I want you to advise yourself moving forward in your modeling career as an actuarial science student, yes. Starting with Dear Rosarita.
Everywhere, GBS.
Thank you so much for staying with GBS Television. This is still an Insight Special. This is a special coverage for the life and times of our former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga, who rested on the 15th of October 2025 at the age of 80. Still with me here is Mr. Fred Osiro from Bunge la Vijana?
Kabila la Vijana.
Kabila la Vijana. Thank you so much for that correction. And you're the Secretary General, right?
Yes, Secretary General.
Okay, good. And of course, we have Mr. Moses Sande Omondi, an aspiring political member of County Assembly, Southeast League Ward, come 2027. We'll see how that goes, and of course, we wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
And Mr. Moses Nyanduga, who is a student leader and an aspiring politician too. Thank you so much for still staying with us today.
I'm glad.
And of course, Mr. Julius, who is from the White Power Patriotic Front. Remember, they just had their National Delegates Conference that took place on the 10th, right?
That's quick.
Yeah, he says it's as quick, but that one is up to, the jury is still out there. Gentlemen, Mr. Fred, we're still discussing on some of the lessons of the list that we can borrow, especially for upcoming politicians and the political class, from the life and times of Mr. Odinga.
Yes, I think it's very fair to look at 2027, who are the contenders, because those are the people that need to take lessons. More importantly, we have Kalonzo Musyoka, the party leader of Wiper.
And Julius is looking at you, so...
Yes, and I've said so many times that if there is one man, if there's one politician that I really respect so much is His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka.
Yeah,
and for
SKM.
reasons, for reasons I will also mention.
All right.
So it's either Kalonzo Musyoka, a man to watch, It's also Rigathi Gachagua, much as you'd like to dismiss him because of his loose mouth. He's a man. He's a man to watch. Also Matiang'i and other leaders. So, most importantly, what can Kalonzo take or learn from Raila Odinga?
Yeah.
Kalonzo embodies almost all leadership qualities that an ideal leader should have. He's a man who is very humble, very caring. I got an opportunity to attend one of his meetings, and I can tell you, and Julius can also confirm, that when you go to Wiper, you would not meet the usual madness that you find in political parties, the gonism and all that. So he's a very humble man, very, very kind, and has integrity. But there's one thing that he can learn from Raila Odinga, the man whom we are actually mourning today.
Indeed.
Kalonzo, and I think this is where most of his supporters actually fault Raila, because they're always into this belief that they must be given this power. It is something that I would also wish Julius Umoja, because I saw him with the party leader during the NDC, to kindly advise Dr. Kalonzo Musyoka that power is not given, power is taken. And for you to have that kind of an attribute to go for that power, you have to have the courage. Raila Odinga has said consistently, do not fear, do not be afraid. And when he says that, this man, like I mentioned, takes himself right in the center of violence and risks his life while doing so. Raila has supporters who he can control. I think yesterday, when was it yesterday? Yes, when you went for him at the airport, you know, it was so difficult to control the crowds, and I remember seeing someone saying that the only person who could control that crowd was the man in the casket. You know, even the president was defeated to control that. He was just speaking inside the boardrooms. Because this man has interacted with the young people and the country at large, in most difficult situations and in most compromising situations. He does not fear. He did not fear. If Kalonzo Musyoka would take that lesson from him, to take himself, ask for these votes, go to places where Raila went. Because in Nyanza province, do you know why Raila was really respected? Not because he was a son of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, no. Raila was respected. For you to be a Luo kingpin, you have to have the courage. Today we call him Joey. Joey is a buffalo. You have to have the courage, the strength to withstand the turmoils of the political arena. You have to be seen as having fought for justice, human rights issues, which will in most cases take you to prison, just like Raila went for 8 years and came back. I have never, and I'm not comparing, I have never seen any of the current political figures being arrested for anything, for any good cause, or even going to prison for even more than a year. You know, I've never seen that. But that is, we are not talking about being arrested. We're talking about the courage that Kalonzo Musyoka needs to withstand the political temperatures. For Rigathi Gachagua is a man who has the following in his region. Yeah, Mount Kenya would actually be seen as his background, as his backyard. He can convince a community, he can mobilize a community, but he lacks what again Raila has or had, which is integrity. Raila had principles in politics. And as you say, most people confuse that for betrayal, that after every election he shakes hands. You remember even after Kenya Kwanza won elections, the former deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, went to a stadium where we had dignitaries. You saw how he spoke. You've seen how he's spoken even before the demise of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, and trying to incite Kalonzo Musyoka to join in that kind of a hate speech. So he's a man who, if he checks his principles and integrity and puts them in place, he has the political wherewithal to withstand the political temperatures. And that is what you need in politics. But most of all, the lesson that most of these people can take from Raila is that Raila loved this country. Raila spoke with love. Anytime he came out to give any press conference or any press address or anything, anytime people were expecting Raila to make a move, anytime we were at a quagmire, at a state, at a dilemma, when we needed to be advised on the way forward, Raila came out and, as you mentioned, would actually lower his selfish interest and speak with love, with a lot of peace, because he loved this country. And he had said it so many times. If we have crop of politicians that we have today, have the love of the country at heart, then for sure we may not get another Raila, but we will try to walk in his footsteps. Yes.
Your party leader was mentioned here that he should at least be courageous, is he not?
You see, now he's trying to confront me in some of the questions that I was supposed to be holding after the burial of Raila Amolo Odinga. But good enough, because I have him here, let me crush him. You see, there are some students, once they graduate, they take the credit, the whole credit, they take it for themselves. Without remembering that the whole journey, there were people who were involved, like their parents, like their friends, who managed it to be a collective effort towards that success. He's mentioning my party leader. And McHugh, when my party leader, he has been selfless leader. And that's some of the things that he's not mentioning. That my party leader has been selfless for 15 years. Selfless means that he's dropping his ambitions to support. And he supported one of our own, Raila Amolo Odinga, for 15 years. And these are some of the things that I will be telling them how arithmetically they will come. Whatever we should be borrowing, and of which we've borrowed, is that politics is a game of numbers. You must be having different friends, but of the same philosophical thoughts. And that's what we are doing right now. We have got different friends, because with him also, he had got friends like that used to support him from, he had Najib Balala Urjo, he had Oparanya, he had people like Deritu Mureithi from Laikipia, so that these people could help him mobilize. What is the wrong that he's saying, if with us, we have got like-minded people that will help us to mobilize. We have got Rigathi Gachagua from Mount Kenya, we have got Matiang'i from Kisii, we have got Martha Karua, PLP, we have got Justin Muturi, we have got, who else is remaining? Eugene Wamalo. Those are the same friends. They're like-minded, and they have got one philosophy. And these are some of the arithmetics that I'll be putting for you down here after we bury Raila Amolo Odinga to tell you that this presidency here is no longer within your hands. It's within the hands of the United Opposition. But let me tell you, Kalonzo Musyoka, he really suffered together with Raila Amolo Odinga. They were being almost killed here in Madari and Pipeline. They were together. Now he's saying that is only the credit. Who is taking the credit? Raila Amolo Odinga. As if Kalonzo was not tear-gassed. He was tear-gassed. Secondly, some of the achievements that you saw and the success of the pulling of the crowds in 2020, could you people pull a crowd in Ukambani? If it was it not for Kalonzo Musyoka? It was equally impossible. Number 3, he's saying that we should be very courageous. That you saw NDC, what happened? Even if you started counting the number of people who attended NDC at Uhuru Park for Wiper Patriotic Front the other day, even up today you could have still been counting. There were so many. And I'm telling him that is just the beginning. That's just the beginning. Is when I know they are going to be in a position to join us, because they have our debt, 15 years debt. 15 years debt is not a joke. So I know Luo Nyanza, after this, we'll be having a discussion with them. We'll be having public barazas with them. We tell them at least, look, this is the only man who stood with your person for 15 full years. Not only 15, but there are also some other years that we can add that they served together in the parliament. Can we have this as the post strategies after we bury Jacom on Sunday? I will meet him and I will show him all this.
But again, Julius, before just to weigh in, again, I mean, politics is about numbers, again, as is mentioned. But this kind of politics of we are waiting for endorsement, seriously, Jacom is now resting. Can we begin to mobilize our own votes and get our own support? Because I've never seen at any point Raila asking, for example, when he was with Martha Karua, that please, I was with you in 2000 and whatever, or telling Mudavadi, I was with you. Raila believed in his own political manpower. And this is what lacks in our current leadership. Let's agree on that. Because we used to wait for. And that is why I am actually wondering, that's why I mentioned political orphans. And unfortunately, a man we respect so much like Kalonzo Musyoka, would actually be also categorized as a political orphan.
Hey,
because
let me tell you,
he's been waiting. He's been waiting. No, he's been waiting. He's been waiting for Raila Odinga to endorse. I don't know how Kalonzo Musyoka will move forward. I don't know, honestly.
Okay, yeah,
we are mourning. There are 2 dates here.
Respond in 1 minute before.
Yes. I think what we'll have to do. You see, this is one of the moments that we need to be celebrating Raila Amolo Odinga.
Indeed.
His life journey of the 80 years.
Of course.
And I'm just requesting him, because all these facts, we have them at the fingertip. We are not reserving them, because I have got a lot of bullets affiliated to the thing. Let him just hold his horses. Yeah. And we'll be meeting next in different next, and I will show him where he belongs.
Yeah, definitely. And I want Mr. Moses to come here, Nyanduga. Yes. How will history judge Mr. Odinga?
History will judge Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga very fondly. Here was a man whose death almost struck not only Kenya as a country, but the entire Eastern Africa. And you saw even online, even people in Uganda were even wondering, people even in Tanzania. This tells you the immense contribution Raila had to the people. And I'll tell you, the Raila's death can only be compared to Kwame Nkrumah's death of 1972. Being a man who led the first African country to independence, he was being regarded as the father of Africa. And when he died, of course, there were several cases which led to 6 months before even his burial. But still, we must remember, he was very, very essential in even the independence we have in every African country today. At that time, when we were still under the colonial rule, this can be compared with Raila in this manner. Raila was a political riser who rose during the ages when people, in fact, very many Kenyans were just languishing on a lonely island of poverty within a very big ocean of material prosperity. There came Raila when the nation needed him the most, a freedom fighter who led now to the so-called multi-party democracy. The ugatuzi we have was his brainchild. So history will remember Raila as a man who came not only to serve the interests of the people, but yet humanity to an extent even contributed to very peaceful missions in various parts of Africa and of course various parts of the world. And as we mourn him today, we, especially Kenyans, remember him as a strong political pillar in our midst, as a strong human rights defender and a human rights activist. Yes.
Okay. Mr. Sunday, you can just come. How do you think history will judge Mr. Odinga through his life and his time, and now we are waiting for his interment tomorrow?
But just before we go to that, you see, it is good to give credit where it is due.
Definitely.
But again, we cannot say that everything that Raila did, he was the one who was doing it. We should also give credit to the people. Because Raila himself cannot do those things without support of the people. Without the people following him, there will be no Raila. Yeah. But even as we sit here, had it not for Raila, we could be finishing our conversation here, and some of us will be going to some cells. so we can also
to spend the weekend.
Yeah, over the weekend. Now we can say anything, like what Osira said concerning the Wiper patriotic leader. I will agree with both of them. But I think one of the fine days, if I will meet his leader, I will ask him if indeed Julius normally passed these informations to him. Because this is now the second time. I was the first person
to tell him
the same thing, tell him that his party leader should be courageous enough to face people. So you see, then again, what he's saying that you can also not do this thing alone. You know, each and every community has a leader that controls them. Without Kalonzo Musyoka also, there are areas that you also cannot access and pull the masses. So we should also give Kalonzo Musyoka the credit. When it comes to the swearing that you are mentioning, Kalonzo Musyoka is a lawyer. And he knows what should be done and what should be done. Lawyers work based on the practice license. And if there's some event that a lawyer, if he attends those events, then he can lose practicing as a lawyer. And that is what also depending on in one way or the other. So in the long run, Raila has really helped this great, I can say, Africa. Because even the people you are now seeing in the Tanzania and the Uganda people, they are reading books from Kenya. Even if you see the Bobby one now with his team, the opposition leader from Tanzania that was arrested from his team, they are reading books from Kenya that if Kenyans can do this, even as they use from Uganda, you can as well do this. So in that thing that we can give the credit.
Indeed, and I wanted you to jump into the question. Yes. Especially when you look at Raila Odinga, yes, how will history judge him?
History will judge Raila Odinga as a patriot of this country, a man who believed in this country so much, in the potential of the country, and the very many young people and women especially, because again, because I mentioned women, I've never seen, and this probably I would challenge also Umoja to actually just take it to their party, a party that has actually inspired and
you need to give this party something because
no, I mean, look, Julia is my good friend. So I mean, as a lesson, because we are actually, you know, in the low community, when you're mourning, we are a community that does not lie to each other. Yeah, but again, we also respect the departed. So in the spirit of Baba, the Enigma, it's time that this country also reflects on itself and, you know, and a few truths. So I'm saying Raila would be remembered for having mentored so many women leaders, the Pasaris of the world, you know, even Lynette Toto, yeah, he would actually tell you that Baba mentored her so much. You know, it's so funny how many people Raila mentored. If you look at it, William Samoei Ruto was also a political student of Raila Amolo Odinga. The other day I was just reading somewhere that even Murkomen, do you know Raila actually took Murkomen to school, to law school, and mentored him. That's why he respects him so much.
We have to confirm that.
Yeah, it's true. He has also mentored Francis. Was he Mudaura, the spokesperson? He has also mentored so many other young women leaders and also so many other young people, like has been mentioned here. So Raila will be remembered for being one of the top mentors in this country, not just politically, but also in other spheres of life. But most importantly, as a Democrat, like I mentioned, because he believed his schooling in Germany also inspired his social beliefs. He's one of the socialists just after his father. He believed in the social emancipation of a people. So therefore, he has left this country better. He has tried his best, and he'll be remembered for his achievements.
All right.
Yeah.
Mr. Julius, you have come under fire here, and I think it's only right that you respond. And as you respond to that, what do you think? How will history remember Mr. Odinga? And apart from his politics, what do you yourself, as Julius, admire about him?
Well, one, in terms of the history books that we have in this particular country, and any area of reference that we people, the young leaders of today, Generation Alpha that is yet to come, whatever they will be keeping as a point of reference is that Raila was one of the freedom fighters of this country. Where we rank Kimathi is where we can also rank Raila Amolo Odinga. Where we rank the people like Tom Mboya, where we rank Ronald Ngala, where we rank Agweng Skodek, Raila is in a position people like Achieng Oneko, Ochokwange Dongo. Those are some of the people that where we rank them, Raila Odinga closely fits in their shoes. He has greatly contributed immensely, not only in Kenya, but also in the entire Africa and also in the entire world. Especially as a Pan-Africanist, you saw that he had a position as one of the representative in charge of the infrastructure,
Yeah.
of which we saw that he did a lot in terms of the trade and market networks within Africa, and we still celebrate him up to date. And also he tried to shape different scopes in this particular country. At least you see where Kenya was previously and where Kenya is right now. We have got a lot of things that we can enjoy, some of the things that we can appreciate under the leadership of the late Raila Amolo Odinga. In terms of the education sector, he has got several achievements. In terms of the agricultural sector, a lot of achievements. In terms of the security, internal security, he has got immense achievement that we still see today. In terms of his intellectual personality, I really wish that I admire how knowledgeable, how wise he was in terms of the decision-making process, of which each and every member or a leader of this particular country should learn leadership, should learn resilience, should learn patriotism from the intellectual personality of the late Raila Amolo Odinga. In terms of the social personality, you see, he could make humor out of different places. Not that it was too serious at all the times. So he could bring people closer. That's why you saw that he was loved by people of Turkana. He was loved by people from Northeastern. He was loved by people of Swahili. He was Swahili from the coastal region, and he was loved by the people of Nairobi and a few people from the Central Province. And he had got total love from the people of Luo region. That was because of his social personality. In terms of also his emotional personality, even however he was very much angry at something, he could not express it on the spot. Being a leader, he could see on how he could harmonize it and also bring things in an amicable way. We still admire and more that if God could have still given us Raila Amolo Odinga, I think we could have still learned a lot, but we still appreciate him for the 8 years that he gave us, Raila Amolo Odinga.
That's good. And Mr. Moses, and as you even give your final remarks, what would you admire apart from politics of Raila Odinga, and how would you describe him in one word?
There is no one word apart from Enigma. I can just use to describe Raila Odinga, and this is the simplest reason I can use to defend myself. Raila had both a sense of wisdom to an extent. Wherever there was Raila, there were either people who used to fear Raila or those who used to love Raila. Of course, as a great leader, you must attract enemies. And Raila's school of politics in this country, like I said earlier, it will take us several decades before even having somebody who can be half to that of a kind of achievement. And just to form part of my conclusion, I'll say that on August 28, 1963, Martin Luther reminded the world that as an individual, you must champion for something and you must be ready to die for something. He himself decreed. And at this time, he was not only addressing the plight of African Americans who used to live in Confederate states, but he was reminding the world opinion and the world audience that we must live in a society where justice and opportunity is served equal for all.
Yeah, indeed.
And that forms the part of Raila's achievement. As he rests in peace, may his soul and spirit lives on us every day.
Yeah, thank you. And Mr. Sunday here, as you even give us your parting shot, what would you describe Raila in one word?
Personally, I even lack how I can describe Raila, because Raila means everything. So, what I can say is that we let Raila rest in peace. But before now I give my final remarks, between the opposition, because I have now come to realize that we have the Wiper and the Azimio and the ODM here.
Yeah.
So Kabila la Vijana should tell us if he is one of the affiliate parties for Azimio ama ODM, so that when we come next time, we know he's talking from which position.
All right.
Yeah.
As you conclude.
As I conclude,
yes.
I want to urge the government that tomorrow we don't want to see the mess that we saw yesterday. This was Nairobi. And now there, you are going to the stronghold of Baba. If by any chance they can make a mistake that they did yesterday on the security labs, then I can tell you for sure, the burial will be on Monday, not even on Sunday. Because the men there will ensure that they carry Baba along the way from Kisumu to Bondo without even boarding that van.
Okay.
So they should work on their security system so that we don't get disappointed.
All right, all right. Thank you. And Mr. Sura, even as you give us your last minute, talk to us about Raila and how the youth can learn whatever they can learn from him and moving forward. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
First of all, for inviting us to this discussion. It was very fruitful and very necessary. I'm just reminded about one thing, that the heroes are not people we celebrate only. Heroes are people who leave behind lessons for us to learn. And Raila was both a contradiction, Raila was both a hope, Raila was both determination. So in those three words, it doesn't matter what you understand or what you would have wanted Raila to do, but it's what you pick from Raila. So, and he has succeeded in becoming a hero by those definitions. Lastly, to the young people, since we are now burying Baba, and also to respond to the question that actually raised whether Kabila Vijana is affiliated, I want to say it very categorically here that Kabila La Vijana is not affiliated to any political party.
Yeah.
When we say Baba, it is because it's an enigma. Kabila La Vijana is very neutral by all definition.
Yeah.
So because of that, all young people to kindly register to vote. Let us register, because if you want to have a replacement, which we'll never have, of Raila Amolo Odinga, or close to it, then our vote is our only voice. So let us register to vote so that we can change things and probably give a future to our children. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And your last words?
Okay, to the people of Luo Nyanza, we are now mourning our Enigma, one of the highly profiled people that we have from the Luo Nyanza. We wish, as we blend our love together with our culture of mourning an Enigma within the Luo community, let youth embrace peace, and also let the police also be in a position to control it amicably, because they should know that they are harmonizing between love, culture, and the last respect to Raila Amolo Odinga. So tear gas should be very minimal, also should be eliminated. And also, as we come on Sunday, because on Sunday I will be there at Bondo, together with, I think, my party leader, let the protocol, even if it's a state burial, we have got stronger friends that have served with Raila Amolo Odinga, like Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. They should be given an opportunity to talk, eulogize Raila Amolo Odinga, not what we saw today at Nyayo Stadium, which is a political sandwich. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much. And I think that one will be taken into consideration. Now, this has been an Insight Special, the life and times of the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. Before we started this program, I did register my tribute to the family of the late Prime Minister, the Luo Nyanza, and the audio members who has now not only just lost a leader, but one person whom they cherished dearly. My name is Emmanuel Ouma, and until next time, this has been an Insight Special. Let's meet next week on Friday, same day, same time. Good evening.
Everywhere GBS.
Have the mortal remains of the late Prime Minister Raila Odinga lie in state at Parliament buildings. It was our intention yesterday. It was impossible. It was possible this morning. And we are very grateful to Parliament for facilitating that important state's rights. And in Parliament, the legislators were able to give their respects to our fallen leader, and also all the three arms of government were represented. The executive, led by President William Ruto, the two speakers of parliament, and the Chief Justice Martha Koome, who also graced the occasion and also graced the event in Nyayo Stadium. I also must appreciate there are many other leaders whom I cannot mention, especially at Nyayo Stadium, and I did note the other time at the stadium that former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka, among others, were also present. And therefore, it is also important to announce to the country that we are pleased with what has happened in the afternoon. We had another event again, and that is the public viewing of the mortal remains of our departed leader. Thousands of mourners, members of the public, the rank and file, supporters and fellow citizens of our fallen leader were able to pay respects to the body of our leader. We are very pleased as a committee that that exercise, which just ended a few minutes to 5 p.m., has continued and ended peacefully, solemnly, and in utmost dignity, notwithstanding that there were thousands of people who patiently queued, waited, performed their respects, and left the stadium. We don't take it for granted. The National State Funeral Committee, therefore, announces that the second day of mourning has been a success and pleads with mourners to continue with the same spirit as the nation enters into the 3 days of mourning tomorrow. Allow me I've just remembered, I should have also appreciated the presence of the Vice President of South Sudan at the stadium, Excellency Rebecca Garang. I think I had mentioned during the event in the day. So we are happy the second day has come to an end. We are praying and pleading that tomorrow, the third day, will even be better. We will dignify our leader. We will respect our leader. We will mourn in dignity. It is heavy, but we must do everything to protect the image of our fallen leader and the image of Kenya, because Raila Odinga was a global leader. Therefore, tomorrow, Saturday, 18th of October 2025, the mortal remains of the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, 18th of October 2025, the mortal remains of the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga will be airlifted to Mamboleo grounds in Kisumu by the Kenya Defence Forces, arriving at 8 a.m. or thereabouts. Members of the public are requested to be settled by 7 a.m. to dignify the arrival of the remains of our leader. There will be public viewing of the mortal remains of the late Prime Minister Raila Odinga at Mamboleo grounds for most of the day until we are satisfied that everyone has had a chance to respect the remains of our leader. Thereafter, the body will be taken to Bondo for an overnight stay before burial on Sunday. The program for Sunday will be given tomorrow, and I want to announce that the committee will provide information about the events on Sunday tomorrow at 7 p.m. But we will do that through a dispatch to media houses, because now we must relocate to Kisumu and Siaya to make sure that the remaining 2 days proceed as we expect them to proceed. Therefore, 7 p.m. tomorrow, there will be a media dispatch to inform members of the public on the program for Sunday as we finalize this very important exercise. We will not be taking any questions today. We have so many things we need to work on immediately after this. We are working throughout the night and then also making our way so that by morning we are able to take charge of the process on the other side. I will only allow the co-chairperson of this committee on behalf of the rest of us to maybe add one or two things, especially from the family perspectives, including what he might consider to be necessary for the public to know. It is now my pleasure to invite my elder brother, my co-chairman of this committee, Senator Dr. Oburu Oginga, whom I am very pleased to work with. And because after he speaks, I will not speak again, I want to thank all my colleagues that you see behind me here, who may not be speaking, but they are doing a great job. They are sacrificed their time. They are the ones responsible for some of the gains that you see we are making. All of them are appreciated individually. We have very senior leaders from the ODM party. We have members of the cabinet. We have family members. And I am very proud to be working with each one of these team members who have made my work very easy. Thank you very much. Senator Oburu, please say one or two things, and then after that we will leave it there. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Yeah, thank you, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, I cannot repeat what my co-chair has said. I will only make remarks on the other aspect of this funeral. First, I want also to take this opportunity to thank my colleagues. They have worked tirelessly since this committee was formed, and they have done a great job. I really appreciate, and I hope that they will continue with the same spirit until the whole process is over. I also want to thank the Deputy President for his very tireless work on this and a very, very diligent approach to all the issues which have come across, and the whole government since this matter started. And I also want to take this opportunity to thank His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, for taking this matter personally and he has been in touch with the family, and he has done all that could have been done by any other head of state to give my late brother the honors that he deserved as a statesman of this country. I also want to take this opportunity to appeal and plead with my people to be peaceful. I know the pains you feel as much as all of us do, but this is not a time to make anything which could cause harm and infamity to our people. We want to behave with dignity. We want our people to respect this occasion, because Raila loved them so much, and they should also treat his send-off with a lot of restraint. Let us not overdo what our mourning. Let us mourn in peace. Let us escort our brother in peace, and let his soul also lie in peace. So please, 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 my brothers and sisters, when the body arrives in Kisumu, let us view the body peacefully. I would like to express my disappointment that yesterday there was some tear gas which was thrown around. I really don't like tear gas. To see Raila should not be tear gassed in death. He has been tear gassed enough when he was alive. Please let us not cause a situation where he is tear gassed again when we are escorting him. Let us behave in a way that does not give any reason for tear gassing and even using force against our people who are innocent. They have come to mourn, and they should be allowed to mourn peacefully. Please, that is the only appeal I would like to make to our people. Akwayo jodalawa ni yeuru ni mondo wakow Raila gi kwe, wakowe gi muolo, wakowe gi hera, mondo kik bedie wach mora mora manyalo miyo gimoro kaka tear gas kata bonde muochi kama Raila nitie. Gigo osetimrene, osehinyre ngimane kuom higni mang'eny. Ka gigo timrene kokedo kok odwar gimiluongo ni injustice, to kik wadog wamiye a situation makendo pod tear gas dogo ringo kata donje wang'e kama entie, kama koro wadhi kane e bur. Mano e gima duong' ahinya madaher ni mondo akwau kaka ogandana. Ang'eyo ni awacho gini gi dholuo mondo radio Ramogi to gi radio wa moko other stations kaka radio Nam Lolwe to gi jowa moko be mondo landi maler mondo jowa owinji ni wakwayo kaka family, wakwayo ni mondo wabeduru gi kwe, kendo agonu erokamano kuom hera ma useng'iso nyaka nyicha jakom nindi, kendo jakom nyicha oherou, ubena uhere, kendo ageno ni wabiro timo kamano. Mano e gima duong' madaher ni mondo awachi. To I know tomorrow we'll be moving home. Sunday will be a day to give the final send-off. And I would like to clarify something which has been in the press. This matter of where the grave of Raila or where he will be interred, the particular spot. The press has been saying that in Raila's will, he said he wanted to be buried next to his mother, and that we have verified it, and now we are burying him next to his father. Nothing could be far from the truth. Raila, I have seen the will, and it clearly states that he would like to be buried next to, in the place where his mother and father are buried. In the place where his father and mother are buried. So father and mother are buried at Nyamira Kango, Kajaramogi. And that is where Raila is going to be buried, at Kango, Kajaramogi, where his father and mother are buried. Whether the grave is next to the mother or next to the father, that is now a detail which he did not say, and I don't know why it is important to you, whether it is next to the mother or the father. Both of them are his parents. Both of them are his parents, and that was our decision. And I thank you all. I thank you all, and only plead for peace. Thank you.